points advantage in the championship, but there's a maximum of 24 points up for grabs here tonight as well. So what is going to happen? It's going to be very exciting and very, very unpredictable indeed. Mikael Hazal then leads the field as they get ready to come over the line. 20 laps and the FIA GT Championship European Final is underway, and Mikael Hazal, of course, leads the way to the applause of the crowd. Sassuolo immediately gets the advantage on Mangano, and Mangano is really dropping down as well because Lenoir is coming in. So from second down to fifth position already before the first corner. Lenoir looking down the inside but bites off a bit more than he can chew. Sassuolo from the second row of the grid, he's up into second position. Absolutely brilliant, and Mangano's going backwards. He's now down to seventh place here, Jimmy.
What happened to Mangano there? He was second position down to seventh already. A terrible start there for the Italian driver, and fantastic for Hazal. Lopez up to fourth position, looks around the outside of Lenoir. You can hear the commentators next to us and the crowd going absolutely insane. Lopez now to the inside. Is he going to make it stick? There he goes.
Whoa, goodness me, that was close. Does he make the move stick here, Lopez? He gets a good exit. He forces Lenoir out wide, and Lopez up into fourth place. He's finally coming good on home soil here today. Blajan as well, just in front, goes a little bit wide through turn number 7. Is that going to compromise his run through turn 9 of Lakaisha here?
The crowd are going absolutely wild right now, cheering on their homeboy at the moment. Coming down now to the hairpin, not quite close enough on Blajan there, but he definitely showed himself in Blajan's mirrors to say, look, I'm here, look at me, don't look at the apex ahead, trying to distract the driver there. Here we go then, and we're going to hear from our Spanish commentary team very shortly, because right now they're pretty much overpowering myself and Tom Brooks. So an impressive achievement.
Absolutely right. Let's head over to our Spanish commentators and see what they have to say.
El alemán de momento tirando y tirando. 2-3, es el Ader, Suswilo, quien se queda en esa segunda posición. Allá va López, en la delantera, ruge el estadio, ruge todo el mundo, aprovechando muy bien, aprovechando, vamos. El grandísimo López aprovechando esos neumáticos, como digo, ¿no, Lucas?
Claro que sí, ese neumático tiene que exprimirlo. Ahora va Coque por el exterior a Susvilo, el piloto favorito. Se mete al interior, Coque. Vámonos, ahí le tenemos en pantalla, muy concentrado. Aquí ese neumático es mucho más efectivo. Vamos a ver si le mete el interior aquí en la horquilla de izquierdas. Vamos a ver si Coque lo intenta. Le asoma el morro, pero no es posible. Ojo aquí al understeer, como te metas muy por debajo del coche de adelante vas a tener subviraje, pérdida de aerodinámica, así que hay que tener mucho cuidado. Coque tiene que aprovechar ese neumático y escaparse a Porizal.
Pues allá va el piloto español, es la segunda vuelta, vamos a vivir la intensidad, ya lo sabéis, allá va, se mete por este lado, tiene un toquecito, atentos a ese pequeño toque que le quitaba esa posibilidad, pero de momento que la aprovecha, se mete por el interior, segundo de momento, vamos a ver si la aprovecha, ha habido toque, ruge de nuevo, es López haciendo de las suyas, bravísimo el español, haciendo ahora lo mejor que sabe hacer, ahorrar y tirar a por el alemán.
Espectacular Coque, Epsilon lo que está haciendo con ese neumático blando, tiene que ir a por Epsilon, a por todas ahora, es ahora o nunca. Ojo la investigación de López y Susvilo, pero yo le diría al director de carrera que eso ha sido un incidente de carrera, se ha metido al interior Coque, se han tocado.
So excited to hear from our Spanish commentators, and you can see a warning's been given to Jorge Lopez following that overtake there on Adam Sassuolo last time around. Lopez, though, is on the soft tyres here, crucially, Jimmy, as well. So a difference in strategy here for Jorge Lopez. He's going fast, going early, trying to close that deficit down to Mikael Hazal here. But is he going to be able to do it? Will he have the pace at the end of the race?
I think he's determined, if nothing else, to give the Spanish crowd something to cheer about today. They've not had much to cheer about in the races up until now, but Lopez with a great start up into second position, but those tyres are going to go off soon, and you'll have to pit in and then serve his time on the slower tyre. He is gaining on Mikael Hazal in front, and Hazal will be thinking, hang on, where have you come from? You were way down the grid, now you're behind me. How does that work?
You can see as well that gap's gone down by over a second on this lap alone there, Jimmy. So that really is very, very exciting indeed, and could prove to be very tantalising as well. You can see Hazal there on the medium compound of tyres. He doesn't have any competition immediately at the moment, so maybe he's not pushing quite as hard as Lopez. He's really got the bit between his teeth here as Jorge Lopez. Has he got the pace and the car underneath him to challenge and take the race lead?
8 times tyre wear, of course, on these tyres here, so Lopez Lopez's tyres will already be screaming for mercy, but the Spaniard will not be giving it. Meanwhile, on screen, Lenoir versus Swillow. Swillow right now, 5th position in our standings. Lenoir 4th. They're actually tied on points. So whoever wins this race between these two will be the higher in the final points standing. But a lot for both these guys to do, and they want to get themselves up into the podium in this European final.
Yeah, absolutely right. Let's not forget, of course, that the deficit in the championship. So if Giorgio Mangano won this race, he would take 24 points, of course, in this race. If, for example, Hizal finished in 2nd position, that wouldn't be enough for him to take the title because he's 4 points ahead of him. They would be tied on points, and on countback, Hizal will be crowned as the winner. So let's keep an eye on things. Let's see how things develop. What about Pierre Lenoir there as well? He's having a really good race. 4th position for him. Just behind him is Adam Sassuolo. Sassuolo going from 3rd position now, down inside the top 5. So it hasn't been anything to shout about at all for Britain so far here today, sadly. It has been a lot to shout out for Germany and Michael Hizal.
He's going to have to watch out now, Hizal, because if Lopez gets up there and throws a move up the inside, maybe there'll be contact there, and Hizal will then be put back down through the field. So I predict when Lopez gets to Hizal, if his tyres are still in one piece, that is, Hizal will just move out of the way and say, OK, go, don't distract me, I'm doing my own strategy right now, please don't affect my race. And saying that, look at the braking difference there. Lopez gaining tons of time under braking, the gap now down to 1.3 seconds.
You can see how smooth Lopez is with his driving style as well. That will be helping his tyres. It will be helping them just stay a little bit fresher, a little bit longer. And he's going to be screaming for mercy, as you say there, Jimmy, as well. He's really going to be struggling, especially in these slower sections where you've got to get traction. It's crucial to get traction and grip going through these corners. But you can see that Lopez could be on for the race victory here if he can get the overcut or the undercut, depending on what strategy either driver goes for. And let's not forget, they've got to run all 3 compounds of tyres. They've got to run the softs, the mediums and the hards. Well, the soft stint is out of the way here for Lopez, so he's going to be on slower tyres at the end of the race as well.
I think very early to say that, Tom. We'll have to wait and see how the tyre strategy spell. Lenoir going up the inside of Blajan there on the straight. Big slipstream in these cars. So if you're behind someone, you might end up, or you should end up, putting up to the back of them nice and neat. So now we're going to be going over to our French commentators to see what they think of Lenoir taking 3rd.
3e position, magnifique Pierre. Pierre qui ne doit pas lâcher une seconde. Ah ouais. Pierre, tu as nos espoirs pour être sur la 3e marche du podium. Et vous le voyez, on est en live.
Ah ouais, c'est énorme ce qu'il a fait Pierre Lenoir. Il a réussi à repasser la 3e place. Il faut qu'il arrive à rester devant les 2 pilotes, Patrick Blazan et Sassuolo, parce que tout est en train de se jouer maintenant pour le podium final. Il faut qu'il reste derrière eux. Et devant eux, pardon, pour garder cette 3e place. Il est en train de se faire talonner par Patrick Blazan ici, qui est au juste derrière lui. C'est énorme ce qu'il est en train de faire, Pierre Lenoir. Il est énorme ce pilote, il nous l'a montré depuis le début de cette compétition. Il sait de quoi il parle.
Pierre Lenoir qui est devant Blazan, Sassuolo, le trio, c'est la compétition parce que Hizal est devant et a quasiment son titre de champion d'Europe. Mais maintenant, c'est Sassuolo, Blazan et Lenoir. Qui des 3 sera le 3e de cette compétition? C'est maintenant, ça se passe sous vos yeux.
Ah ouais, là, et pour l'instant, Sassuolo qui est en train de talonner Blazan. Et là, on a Lopez qui est un peu à l'arrêt. Il s'est un peu loupé là. Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé pour Lopez?
Mais il est toujours pas changé ses tours.
Non, il a toujours pas changé ses pneus. Eh bah oui, forcément, il est réparti.
Et voilà les pneus soft. Lopez qui n'a pas changé ses pneus. C'est la dégradation extrême, mais forcément 6 tours avec les softs.
Ouais, et là on voit que Patrick Blazan n'a pas dit son dernier mot. Il est en train de faire l'extérieur à Pierre Lenoir. Est-ce que Pierre reste?
Wow, side-by-side racing going through the first corner there as well. You can see that Sassuolo is up into 4th place as he went around the outside of Lenoir. You can also see that Mangano as well was trying to challenge, and Blajan it is, who's now into 3rd position, but this is nearly a 4-way square position. Sassuolo nearly down the inside at turn 4 of Patrick Blajan. Blajan is out well wide. Sassuolo is going to be ahead surely on corner exit, but down into turn 5. Blajan has got the inside line. Can he hold on to it? Can he keep that race lead? Not quite. At the moment, he holds on to 4th position.
And we also saw just while this battle was raging on, we did see an incident with Lopez. Unfortunately, we missed that. We were with the French comments right now, and Grady down to 10th position. So it's not been a good run for either, well, for Lopez, for Grady so far. But we'll come back to this battle. Blajan defending from Sassuolo in that British Racing Green X2014. Sassuolo goes to the outside because Blajan defends.
Lenoir was late on the
big dive. Where is he? There he is. He's well up to 3rd place. What on a move. He's got past both of them.
I don't believe that. Pierre Lenoir from absolutely nowhere sails past them on the brakes. The French commentators are about to have a coronary in a minute, I'll tell you that, because they are going absolutely potty over to our left. But this is absolutely fantastic. Pierre Lenoir then up into third position. The medium compound of tyres working very nicely indeed for him. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. And we saw, of course, earlier on the mistake there also for Jorge Lopez. He had a spin coming out of that chicane, and he's now 3.2 seconds away from the race lead. Lucas Swillow, though, for third position. He's in the slipstream. He's going for the outside line here, Jimmy. And Blajan is coming into play as well. They're ducking and diving. They're weaving. Lenoir tries for the inside to Swillow. Is in third position here.
It's absolutely crazy right now, Tom. Lenoir just about defending full position there from Blajan on the straight. It's just a big slipstream battle when you get there. These cars produce such a big hole in the dirty air. And here comes Blajan up to the inside now. Down in the right hand, he's just been on the side. Bit of contact between him and Lenoir there, but just about makes the move stick. We'll see what the stewards think about that. Meanwhile, in the background, Mangano coming back from a poor start, looking to the inside. Will he dive up the inside? No, he does not. Waits, keeps it patient for now. Lenoir down to fifth, Swillow third, and Blajan fourth.
Yeah, Mangano really is not having the race he needed to. He needed to win this one convincingly and hope that Michael Hizao had a bit of a disaster, and it's proven to be the other way around really more than anything. Mangano in sixth position at the moment. Hizao leading the race by nearly 3.9 seconds, and that's increasing lap on lap here as well. And you can see Salazar actually as well. Here comes Blajan nearly trying to send it down the inside at turn 10. Swillow thinks again a little bit better of it. You can see the live points ranking on the right-hand side of your screen would see Hizao comfortably crowned as the European champion of 2018 at the moment.
If things ended as they were, but we know better than that, Tom. We've been here for the last couple of days watching the races unfold, especially yesterday in the reportage races. Anything can happen. Lopez into the pit. 7 laps is as far as he can take those soft tyres, so he comes in for the medium tyre now, which means it's going to end on the slowest hard tyre. Yeah, into the pit lane he comes. Swillow will go up to second, Blajan third, Mangano fourth. Let's see how far down Lopez will fall with that early pit stop. Meanwhile, Hizao over the rest of the field, 12 seconds. What an absolute massive lead he's got now.
Absolutely brilliant stuff there. And Lopez, what he needs now really is clear track in front of him. He's out into fifth position. He has got a bit of clear track in front of him, so he can just run his own race for now, which will be crucial, could be crucial for the race win here. And look at Swillow running a little bit wide through turn 3. Blajan gets himself ahead. He's up into second.
No grip out there, Tom. You go out there, the track becomes like ice, and Swillow really noticing that and losing position to Blajan, who gives a nice little wiggle there coming out of the right hand.
Mangano as well, trying to challenge. Yeah, a little bit wide there, so Swillow, perhaps his tyres going off. Mangano, and Swillow's up into the gravel. Disaster for Adam Swillow. Such a shame there for the British driver. He goes into the gravel trap at turn 5, and now he's going to be out of contention for that podium. His tyres are well past their best, as you can see with those few mistakes he's made on this lap.
And when you spin one of these cars, the tyre wear just adds up exponentially. Tom, you know yesterday you spun one of these cars a couple of times in one of our races earlier on, and the rear tyres just go off instantly. So now Adam is going to have a very tricky job getting that thing back to the pit. So what I suspect will probably be a tyre change.
A good amount of shade there from you, Jimmy Broadbent. Thank you very much indeed. So Adam Swillow in fourth position. Jorge Lopez, I should say, rather, in fifth. You can see Michael Hizao has bolted. He's gone to the pit lane. He's gone for the hard compound of tyres here as well. He's got such a comfortable advantage over the rest of the field that surely he is going to manage to continue that race lead very soon indeed. Blajan takes over at the front. Mangano follows him through there as well. And Michael Hizao taking an awfully long time in pit lane there. 17.3 seconds. Where is he going to emerge out of pit lane at the moment? He's going to come out of pit lane. He's going to be in front of this battle. He needs to be. He does. Yeah, crucial. That is crucial there for Michael Hizao, because look at this battle going on. Lopez sends it down the inside of Adam Swillow at the first corner. The Spanish crowd here going absolutely potty once again, and Lopez into fourth position.
So here we are then, Lopez up into fourth. He is on the medium tyres, so he's going to be a bit faster right now than the cars around him. Importantly, our leader, Hizao, there he is, just in front. He's now on the hard tyre, so he might come under threat from Lopez on that medium tyre. And it might be towards the end of the race. They find themselves quite close together because of his strategies. Meanwhile, at the front, Blajan first, Mangano second, Hizao in third position, just out of the pit lane. Of course, Blajan and Mangano still yet to pit. So when they pit in, the Hizao will retake the lead. But he was very wide there. They'll definitely made the mistake and lost a bit of time. In fact, he's dropped off the back of our picture. Where's he gone?
Yeah, absolutely right. Let's have a wait and see. Yep, there he is there. Still in third position, Michael Hizao. You can see Blajan, his tyres really really looking like a 50-pence piece at the moment. He's braking so hard because he's been locking up and sliding all over the place there for Blažan. Mangano in second position is closing all the time. Both of these drivers haven't stopped and they're both on the harder compacted tyres. Will they opt for lap 9 being the first opportunity to make the pit stop here? They're going to have to be very careful because Michael Hezau is closing up very significantly into the pit lane. Comes Patrick Blažan. Mangano opts to go round again. So Mangano really, he's stitching his own goat here more than anything because Hezau is only 1.6 seconds behind, so Mangano, at best, by the looks of things, is probably going to come out of pit lane in about 6th or 7th position by my reckoning.
We'll have to see how this pans out. Of course, we're only about halfway through this race here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Of course, this is a new track here in Gran Turismo Sport. I'm sure it'll be available to you guys fairly soon. We got to drive it earlier. Absolutely great circuit, especially in these cars. A bit of downforce never hurt this track in my mind. But we'll go back to the race now. First, second and third, all in your picture. Lopez has really caught up to the back of Hezau. Mangano on those fresher medium tyres. He's going to go to the inside of Hezau here, get the move done. Will Hezau defend it? He does, actually. I thought that Lopez was going to send that up the inside there, but thought better. Look at the drive that Hezau has off the corner. He's going to try up the inside now, uphill. Is he? No, not quite close enough, but he's going to have a slipstream on the back straight here, as is Lopez. And Mangano really is sitting duck at the moment on those worn hard tyres.
Yeah, that's stopping for 1 lap later, or potentially 2 laps later, whatever it'll be for Mangano whenever he decides to pit. Has really hurt his chances. Hezau goes to the outside. Lopez is going to try and follow him as well, down towards turn number 10. Hezau around the outside. You can see just how much more grip he's got. Corner exit as well. He's back past Michael Hezau. Well, look at that, and Lopez follows him through there as well. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Jorge Lopez. Opportunist from the Spaniard who don't normally pass, going through turn number 12, but he made it stick. It was calm, confident, comfortable, and now it's an out-and-out battle for the race lead between Hezau and Lopez.
Now listen to the Spanish crowd. Lopez is going to be right on the back of Hezau. He's going to have his slipstream. Of course, Hezau still has the soft tyres to use towards the end of the race. Mangano in the background, but we're focusing this right now. See both drivers picture in picture, down to 2 tenths a gap, down to 10 and a half.
Here comes Lopez down the inside of the first corner. He gets the move. The Spanish crowd go wild. Absolutely incredible for Jorge Lopez. He's into the race lead here on lap 11 in the European final.
He is, and the Spanish crowd go absolutely wild as we'd expect him to at the moment there, but having to defend from Hezau. I think Hezau did the right thing there in letting Lopez get through. He doesn't want to disturb his race too much. Of course, as you mentioned, Hezau does have the soft tyre in bank still, so he'll be a bit faster towards the end of the race, whereas Lopez only has the hard tyre left, so he's going to struggle towards the end. There are your live point standings if it ended now, and you'd see that Lopez moved up to 4th place, but still not quite on the podium.
No, absolutely not. And it does make it very interesting indeed. You can see there Lopez as well, and you can see Hezau immediately trying to retaliate. Opts to go out of the slipstream crazily there as well. You can see Lopez going back into the racing line on the brakes, and Blažan has had a shocker here as well. What's happened here to Patrick Blažan? He was 4th at this point, down in turn 5. Did he have a spin coming out of here? He got onto the curb, he was off as well, he was offline, and he spun it round for good measure there as well. And Patrick Blažan, sadly, from what looked like it could have been a promising top 5 finish for the Hungarian driver, is now a lowly bottom end of the top 10.
Bottom end of the top 10, Grady down the bottom as well in P10. We have no idea what's happened to him, but he's had an absolutely abysmal race. A real shame for him. He was very hyped coming into this last round, and now we're going to see probably a repeat of what we saw last lap, but the roles are reversed. This time Hezau has the slipstream coming down to T1. He's going to go to the outside. Lopez will defend, but the overspeed will be too much, I think. No, Lopez defends. Hezau hasn't quite got the tyre life to get around the outside there, and Lopez remains in the lead for now. But look at the oversteer on the exit there. The tyres on those medium tyres starting to struggle a bit now.
Yeah, absolutely right. And here comes Hezau. He's surely going to send it down the inside at turn number 4. They're side by side, almost hard on the brakes. Very close racing. Lopez has to run it a bit wide. Will he have track position going in towards turn number 5? They still remain side by side. Lopez has the inside line. Is that going to compromise his exit going through there, though? The Spanish crowd are still absolutely on the seat, the edge of their seat rather, and up in towards turn 6 and 7. Lopez still holds on to that lead, but Jimmy, is he a sitting duck here? Is it only a matter of time before Hezau finds his way past?
I'd say Hezau is doing a very mature job at the moment, keeping the car out of trouble and not getting into too big of a fight. And now we're going to come over to our German casters to see what they think of this battle.
Die beiden schenken sich beide nichts. Dahinter Mangano schon 10 Sekunden weg. Das heißt, die beiden haben auch ein bisschen Luft. Die haben den Platz, um zu fighten, hier sich hier wirklich für uns auch und für die Zuschauer ein super spannendes Duell zu liefern. Ich bin gespannt, ob sich Lopez jetzt davon behaupten kann, ob der eventuell vielleicht nochmal wegziehen kann oder ob wirklich Hisa jetzt auf den harten Reifen so stark ist, dass er da wieder Lopez gleich in Kurve 1 attackieren kann. Er ist auf jeden Fall dicht genug dran. Der Windschatten sollte ausreichen, um ihn in eine verdammt gute Situation zu bringen. Wir werden es gleich sehen, die nächsten 200-300 Meter, wenn der Windschatten in welche kann.
Oh, schau dir das an, Lopez gleich auf die Innenbahn gezogen. Er ist eine Sekunde schneller gewesen auf den Softs als Hisa auf den Mediums. Hisa jetzt außenrum. Lightning versucht, die Führung zurückzugehen und erholt sie sich. All der Windschatten hat sich ausgezahlt.
Geht da aber weit. Lopez konnte da nochmal kontern, konnte wieder sich für die nächste Kurve die Innenseite retten. Jetzt Lopez wieder vorne. Also es wechselt hier jetzt in den letzten beiden Kurven zweimal die Führungswechsel. Hisa aber jetzt wieder in der nächsten Kurve versucht, da wieder seine Nase reinstecken. Gerade haben wir gesehen, musste sich Lopez hier auch in der langen rechts verteidigen.
Ich habe nur Angst. Ich habe einfach nur Angst, dass der sich so sehr in diesen Kampf reinschmeißt, dass da am Ende was schief geht und Hisa einfach mal die Leiter runterfällt. Ich hoffe, das passiert nicht.
Absolutely amazing, amazing stuff. You can see there Lopez versus Mikael Hizao, and Lopez, Jimmy, there held it all the way around the outside at turn number 3. Just amazing driving from him, and look how calm, confident and comfortable he looks behind the wheel of that X2014 at the moment.
I think he's determined to get as far down the track as possible before he has to switch to those slower, hard tyres. The thing is, Hizao is still hanging with him with the harder compound tyre. The slipstream definitely helping out there, and we'll see again when we get to the front straight, down the pit straight, Hizao will again close up on the Spaniard, and I'm sure, as we saw before, the Spanish crowd were a little bit more mute this time when it was the other way around. They weren't not quite enjoying the German putting one over the side. Let's see if Lopez comes in. Swillo and Lenoir changing positions, and they still are down in fourth. And here it is on your screen right now. Lenoir side by side with Swillo. Adam on the inside takes a place right now. But as I said, the straight coming up, and that is a great overtaking.
Look at Salazar and Panjanet in the background there as well. They're battling for sixth position. Hizao versus Lopez, and Hizao is now back out in front. Side by side they run. It's a repeat of last time around. Lopez goes for that outside line. He gets the run going through turn number 3 once again. He stays into the race lead. Brilliant stuff there for Jorge Lopez. Whatever Mikael Hizao has got in his back pocket, Lopez just seems to be able to say, well, whatever you can do, I can do it better, sunshine.
Passionate in for the soft tyres, his last stop, and meanwhile these guys still side by side. Hizao on the outside now. You aren't going to get round there, I don't think, Mick. We'll leave it for now. Cut back in. Lopez takes the position for now. Now I think what's happening here is Hizao is actually using Lopez somewhat. Lopez is quicker through the corners, sure, but on the straights he's getting a free toe. So really he's going just as fast as Mangano behind him. That gap hasn't come down, and Mangano is his main competitor.
Yeah, absolutely right there, as you say, Jimmy. So it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers fare then. You can see Hizao here. Is the victory going to start slipping away from him? There's 6 laps left of this one. Let's not forget that Lopez, he's got to run those hard tyres at the end of this race, the slowest compound of tyres in this race as well. And whereas Mikael Hizao is going to be running the medium compound of tyres, slightly faster by a few tenths of a second, and that, of course, as you can see with the gap at the moment, could prove to be the difference between winning and losing this race.
I mean, I want to give us a great conclusion, but once Lopez puts in for the hard tyre and Hizao is on the soft, I'm unsure we're going to see the battle for first continue that much longer. But it doesn't say that, though. We still have other drivers in contention somewhat. Although saying that, to Swillo, 20 seconds behind. What happened to Mangano?
Yeah, absolutely right.
He's gone off again.
Yeah, Mangano's had some kind of an incident here because he's down in 7th position. You can see Hizao, though, going for the race lead against Jorge Lopez down into the first corner. Hizao much more confident on the brakes than Lopez at the moment. He's into the race lead. There is Mikael Hizao once again. Lopez, will he have something in his back pocket as Salazar comes into the pit lane? Soft tyres for him, and Lopez is going to try and challenge against Hizao down into turn 4. Can't quite make it through there, and now Hizao's got the clear track in front of him. Is there going to be anything that Lopez can do? Is he going to try and send it down the inside? Maybe not through into turn 5, but maybe at turn number 10 in the middle sector of the lap. Look at Lopez. His heart is beating 131 beats per minute. It's going up and down like a spirograph at the moment. Into the left-hander we go of turn 6 and turn 7, and Hizao just making a couple of unforeseen errors there. A little bit wide through turn 6 and 7. That compromised his run, and a little bit of a bump there on the rear for Lopez. Nothing he can do. It's just the closing speed between the two drivers.
I think we'll likely see Hizao come in at the end of this lap, if not the next, to get a fresh set of soft tyres, and then we'll see what sort of speed that the German has. A little bit sideways there. I think his tyres really are starting to go now, Tom.
And the crucial thing is here as well, Jimmy, that Hizao doesn't need to win this race. If he finishes in second, it'll be more than enough for the championship for Mikael Hizao. He's going to know that in the back of his mind, but he'd love to get a clean sweep. He'd love to get 3 out of 3.
No, I know Mick. He's a very humble guy, but he's always very competitive. And here he comes in for those soft tyres and followed him by Lopez, but the thing is Lopez is going to be on the hard. Maybe he's going to just try and stay in the slipstream. That could be an interesting strategy. Whether it will happen or not for him, I don't know, but the difference between the soft and the hard compound is nearly 2 seconds a lap around here, so Lopez has really got his work cut out for him now.
Yeah, absolutely right. 17 seconds they'll be in the pit lane there as well, as you can see. They come out now, so soft tyres there for Mick Hazal. And hard tyres for Jorge Lopez as well. And just wondering there for Mikel Hazal, did he start on the medium compound? I can't remember now, it seems too far ago. So he did start on the medium compound, so he is on the soft tyres there. So will Lopez have anything in the back pocket, this hard compound of tyre for him? You can see Duval, Lenoir, Mangano and Blajan all in the pits, as well as Martin Grady. So everybody now pitting at exactly the same time, more than anything, to make their second and final stops in this race.
Oh no, sorry, I thought Siswillo was actually behind Lopez after a pit stop, but not quite. Pagenet is actually the next person on track in 4th position. That's a great shout from him, then going on the soft tyres at the end of the race. He's made both his stops. He's a long way behind everyone, but definitely a next game there for the Frenchman. And if things ended now, it'll be Hazal leading and of course winning the series, as we no doubt thought he would, and Siswillo would move up into 2nd place after quite a difficult couple of races, I'd say. Here's someone who's had an even more difficult race, Mangano. I think he's spun a couple of times, now down in 8th position. Any chance of him winning this European final is now firmly gone, unless there is some form of miracle for the Italian driver.
Yeah, absolutely right. He's really going to need to try and pull it out of the bag here, as you say there, Mangano, but he's not got the pace, he's not got the consistency, and he's not had the race to try and do that. 8th position is not going to be enough in any way, shape or form. He needs to win this one, as we said earlier on, and have Hazal have an absolute shocker. But Hazal is on the soft compound of tyres rather. He's now got 3.2 seconds over Lopez, so exactly what we feared here really for Lopez. It was great to see him in the first stages, great to see him in the second stages, fighting for that race lead, but sadly his second pit stop here means he's gone to the hard tyres, and that really is going to put pace to his race victory.
Now, something I'm interested to see is Lopez currently has the fastest lap, a 1:30.5. I wonder if Hazal will be able to better that once he gets up to speed. Here we have both, we have Lenoir and Duval, 2 Frenchmen and an Italian. That sounds like a start to a joke, I think, Tom. Mangano then goes into the slipstream. He'll pull past, I think, to the right of Duval, changing positions a lot because there's been a couple of pit stops. We'll wait until they've all sorted themselves out. Mangano down on 8th, comes up to the inside of Duval. Will we try and get him on the brakes? Duval says nope, keeps the inside line, cuts across, and Mangano still in 8th position.
Absolutely right. So 2 Frenchmen there, as you can see, Lenoir and Duval in 6th and 7th place now. Mangano just not having any pace really underneath him. You can see there, actually, the live points ranking would see this man here, Adam Siswillo, getting 2nd position in the European Championship. That would be very welcome indeed for him, with Mangano 2 points adrift, and Lopez there only 1 point adrift in Mangano as well.
There's a chance if there's one more mistake from Mangano that Lopez, someone that was a complete outsider coming into this, could be on the podium. And I'm sure the Spanish crowd will go absolutely wild for that. The only people who can really affect that right now is Patrick Blajan, who's 2 seconds behind Mangano. Blajan, TRL Fuvroche, you'll know him as someone who came in as a bit of a favourite, but really has been kind of nowhere in the final.
Yeah, it really has been a difficult time here for Patrick Blajan. These Red Bull X2014s, maybe it's that, maybe it's the new Catalunya circuit that he's not used to and just doesn't have a lot of experience around here, perhaps. But you can see that these drivers are really pushing the limits. You can see that Siswillo is coming under pressure as well from Salazar, and will Salazar be able to try and find his way past there as well? Mikel Hazal, though, meanwhile, last time around, fastest lap in this race. He is pressing on now. 8.2 seconds his advantage over Jorge Lopez.
That fastest lap was 1.2 seconds faster than Lopez's fastest lap. Absolutely great race. Here comes Hazal, so all he needs to do, Hazal, now is to finish, and he will come away with the European final title. But that does not mean the rest of our podium is decided as of yet. Here is Mangano, currently on the 3rd step of the podium, but only just. Blajan is actually catching him hand over fist. Only a second. It was 2 seconds last time I looked. If Blajan manages to get past Mangano, then that will put Lopez up onto the 3rd step of the podium. So we could still see Lopez on the podium. As soon as I say that, Blajan picks him a penalty. So maybe not.
No, perhaps not. 0.4 of a second penalty there for Blajan, so he'll have to drive out of his skin really in the last 2 laps of this race there. But the Hungarian driver, it's not been a fairy tale ending in any way, shape or form for him, very sadly. Mikel Hazal, though, meanwhile, the race leader, now 10.6 seconds. All he has to do is cruise home to the checkered flag here, really. Probably afford to stop and have a read of a quick paper on this on the last lap of the race, but I'm sure he won't be doing that because Mikael Hazal, he loves to win, and he's absolutely dominated proceedings here this evening for the 2018 Gran Turismo European Finals. They've just come through turn number 12, and you can see these three line astern at the moment. No drivers making any uncharacteristic, any silly moves, and Mangano looks like he's actually picked up some pace in this particular lap and is now trying to swarm all over the back of Anthony Duval here.
It's very close right now. 6th, 7th, 8th, and there in the background is Blažan. He is essentially the only man now who can put Lopez up onto the podium. So we'll keep an eye on that. Mangano needs to really try and get up past one of the French drivers. Duval just sends it up the inside of Lenoir, but then very slow on the exit there. And Lenoir goes, okay, I'm going to take that back again. And Mangano needs to try and find a way past himself, though, to guarantee himself his 3rd position on the podium. Duval wide here. This might be it now. Comes to the inside. Duval gets onto the slippery stuff. Hasn't quite got the grip on that set. Mangano on the inside, but Duval hanging it on the outside. He does not want to give up that 7th position. And look in the background. There is Blažan.
Wow, Blažan has really been able to close up and profit on this battle. Duval runs out, Mangano wide, and Blažan is through. He's nearly going to gain 2 positions here is Blažan. This is absolutely inspired stuff from the Hungarian, and up in towards turn 6 and 7, and that would mean then that the positions in the championship would change, and Jorge Lopez, if he finishes in 2nd place, he would take 3rd position away in the championship here tonight.
Now Mangano all over the back of Duval. It's got away from that. Sassuolo past Pagenet. There we go, round the outside into 3rd position. I want to see what Mangano's doing. Mangano's moved up into 8th position, so he's got past Duval. There has been a incident put on our screen there, so that might not have been a clean pass, but Sassuolo, more importantly, up into 3rd place.
Well, on to the final lap of racing we are now as well. Mikael Hazal leading the way quite comfortably, 15 seconds the advantage he has over Jorge Lopez at the end of this one. And Pagenet now, is he going to have anything in his back pocket? This is easily the best performance we've seen from Pagenet over the course of this evening, and he was trying to challenge for 3rd position down into turn 1, but trying to challenge for 6th position as well is Blažan, trying to go the long way around Pierre Lenoir down to turn 1 for the final time. Side by side we are. Blažan has got the inside line through turn 2. Can Lenoir hold it all the way around the outside? No, he can't. And Mangano is going to come into play now as well. So this is absolutely brilliant stuff as we go through the right-hander. Mangano's up into 6th, and Blažan is wide, and here comes Mangano through once again as well. Brilliant, brilliant stuff indeed. Lenoir's out wide. Blažan's got a penalty as well on the final lap. He drops down to 8th place, and he's going to have to suffer a 0.4 of a second penalty here as well.
Just a cut track there. He's trying a little bit too hard at the moment. That means, of course, Lopez will go back down to 4th position. Mangano, I think he heard us in the booth saying he needs to finish better, and now up to 6th position.
Absolutely amazing stuff. Just a couple more corners meanwhile from home for Mikael Hazal. He's absolutely dominated this race from start to finish. He's dominated this evening from start to finish. He comes around the final corner, does Mikael Hazal. It's a perfect weekend of racing for him. Mikael Hazal takes the win and becomes the 2018 FIA Gran Turismo European champion. What a race, what an evening for Mikael Hazal. He takes the accolade.